Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Shama Gauri Mataji, do you want to get started? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण इंदु माता जी
Yes, Mataji.
माता जी प्रभु जी already joined माता जी I will start 10 offenses
Okay, Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय all glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna please accept my humble obeisances this is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas College Station welcoming all of you to Bhakti Sangha conference call I thank all of you for attending this session please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or to be independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the order of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activity Karma Kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have a complete faith in chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. So, since Prabhuji is already on the call, we'll start the recording. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today, we are very fortunate to have His Grace Radhika Vallabh Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th Canto, 16th chapter, 10 and 11th verse. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your wonderful services, Prabhu. Thank you so much for joining this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. I now hand over the call to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So my obeisances to all the devotees in the Bhakti Sangha conference. We'll begin with the Mangalacharana prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। सर्वशास्त्राब्धि पीयूष सर्ववेदैक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैक दृक्प्रद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभु कलिद्वान्तोदितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तितः परमानन्दपाठाय प्रेमवर्षक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोऽस्तु ते। मदेकबन्धो मत्सङ्गिन् मद्गुरो मन्महादन मन्निष्ठारकमद्भाग्य मदानन्द नमोऽस्तु ते। असाधु साधुतादायिन् अतिनीचोच्चतारक आनमुञ्च कदाचिन्मां प्रेम्णा कृत्कण्ठयोऽस्फुर। Hare Krishna. So today we will read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 16, text number 10 and 11. Text number 10. अपि सर्वे कुशलिनस्तव पुत्रा मनस्विनी लक्ष्ये स्वस्थमात्मानं भवत्या लक्षणैरहम्। अपि whether survey all kushalinah in full auspiciousness tava your putraha sons manaswini o great minded lady lakshaye I see aswastam not in tranquility atmanam the mind bhavatyaha of you lakshanai by symptoms aham I. Translation: O great-minded lady, are all your sons faring well? Seeing your withered face, I can perceive that your mind is not tranquil. How is this so? Next shloka. Shri Aditi Ruvacha Bhadram Dvijagavam Brahman Dharmasyasya Janasya Cha Trivargasya Param Kshetram Grihamedin Grihayime. Shri Aditi Uvacha, Srimati Aditi said, Bhadram, all auspiciousness, Dvijagavam, of the Brahmanas and the cows, Brahman, O Brahmana, Dharmasya Asya, of the religious principles mentioned in the Shastra, Janasya, of the people in general, Cha, and Trivargasya, of the three processes of elevation, Dharma, Artha, and Kama. Param, the supreme, Kshetram, field, Grihamedin, O my husband, were attached to household life. Griha, your home. Ime, all these things. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Aditi said, O my respected Brahmana husband, All is well with the Brahmanas, the cows, religion, and the welfare of other people. O master of the house, the three principles of dharma, artha, and kama flourish in household life, which is consequently full of good fortune. Purport. In household life, one can develop the three principles of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, according to the regulations given in the Shastras. But to attain liberation, one must give up household life and place himself in the transcendental renounced order. Kashyapa Muni was not in the renounced order of life, therefore he is addressed here once as Brahman and another time as Grihamedin. Aditi, his wife, assured him that as far as household life was concerned, everything was going nicely, and the Brahmanas and cows were being honored and protected. In other words, there were no disturbances. Household life was duly progressing. Hare Krishna. So Kashyapa Rishi is asking Aditi, Apisvit Kushalinas Tavaputra Manasvini Lakshaye Swastamatmanam Bhavatya Lakshanairaham. Manasvini is a Sambodhana Vibhakti word. That means she is using this word to address Aditi. Manasvini, O wise lady, O great-minded lady. Tava sarve putraha kushalinah api tava sarve putraha kushalinah, are all your sons kushalinah? Are they doing well? Are they safe? Are they happy? And then he says that Bhavatyaha aswastam atmanam lakshanaihi bhavatyaha lakshanaihi means by seeing the symptoms. What symptom? Aditi was having a very sad look. So aswastam atmanam. So by seeing a withered face, lakshaye, I can perceive that atmanam means mind. Aswastam, by seeing your withered face, I can perceive that your mind is not tranquil. I can perceive this by the symptoms, lakshanai. So face is the index of the mind. By seeing the face, Kashyapa could understand something is wrong. Then Aditi is replying, Shri Aditi Ruvacha, Badram Dvijagavam Brahman, Dharmasyasya Janasya Cha, Trivargasya Param Kshetram Grihamedin Grihaime. So she is addressing Kashyapa by two words, Brahman and Grihamedin. Both are Sambodhana Vibhakti word. Brahman, O Brahmana. She says that Dvija Gavam Dharmasya Asya Janasya Cha Badram. Brahmanas are happy, cows are happy, Dharma is also going on properly. And Asya Janasya, people in general, other people are also happy. They are also good. Grihamedin, O master of the house. Ime Griha Trivargasya Param Kshetram. Ime Griha, this house is the Param Kshetram, best place for pursuing the goals of Trivarga, that is Dharma, Artha and Kama. So this is the Kashyapa's point. So here, Kashyapa Rishi has asked various questions to Aditi. The previous shlokas we saw. And then Aditi is replying. So one of the point here, Aditi is saying that Ime Griha Trivargasya Param Kshetram. This house is the best place for nourishing Trivarga. So there are 4 goals of life which are mentioned in the Sanatan Dharma: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So out of the 4, Dharma, Artha and Kama, they are related to one's body and mind. Moksha is related to one's Atma. And out of these 4, Dharma and Artha are the means, and Kama and Moksha are the goal. And Bhagavatam speaks about the Panchama Purushartha, which we'll talk about later. So Dharma and Artha are the means. By performing Dharma, a person hopes to attain certain Artha, wealth, and by that, a person hopes to attain certain objects for sense pleasure. And then by obtaining those objects of sense pleasure, he wants to experience happiness, that is Kama. Then ultimately, one wants to pursue moksha. So, in truly speaking, out of the 4 goals, only 2 are the goals, other 2 are the means. Dharma and Artha are the means, and Kama and moksha are the goal. So, in these 4 goals, Dharma, Artha and Kama, to fulfill these or to pursue these, Grihastha ashram is the best ashram. Grihastha ashram is glorified because in the Grihastha ashram, a person can pursue the goals of Dharma, Artha and Kama. Elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, in the 4th canto, Puranjani is addressing Puranjana. 4th canto, 25th chapter. Dharmo Kshatrartha Kamaucha Prajanando Amritam Yashaha Loka Vishoka Viraja Yanna Kevalino Viduhu. In household life, Dharma, Artha and Kama, the bliss of children, remnants of sacrifice, attainment of higher planets, happiness and health, which the sannyasis do not know. In household life, a person can attain all these things: Dharma, Artha, Kama, the bliss of having a children. One can perform sacrifice and get the remnants of the sacrifice. One can go to higher planets. That is why, in this way, the Grihastha ashram is glorified. But these things cannot be attained in the other ashramas. Because traditionally brahmachari, vanaprasan, sannyasi, they are not into earning wealth, and their life is of austerity. No question of begetting children, etc. So therefore, but these goals can be attained only in the Grihastha ashram. And again, Puranjani is telling to Puranjana, Pitru Devarshi Martyanam Bhutanam Atmanaschaha Kshemyam Vadanti Sharanam Bhavesmin Yat Grihashrama. That it is said that in the human birth, household life is the beneficial shelter for Pitru, Devata, sages, humans and you. So Grihastha ashram is glorified because Grihastha ashram only a person performs Shraddha to the Pitrus, forefathers. one performs sacrifices to the devatas. So therefore, householder life is a beneficial shelter for Pitrus, Devatas, sages, and one maintains the other three ashramas. Householder life is the beneficial shelter for the humans. In this way, Puranjani is actually speaking about the glories of the Grahastha ashram to Puranjan. And elsewhere in the Bhagavatam 3rd canto, Kashyapa Muni tells to Diti, Yeshateham vidasyami priyam bhiru yadichasi tasya kamam nakak puriyad siddhis traivargiki yataha. O fearless women, I will fulfill your request. Diti had a desire to have a child. I will definitely fulfill your request. Who would not fulfill the desires of a woman who allows dharma, artha, and kama to be attained? So the wife helps a husband in pursuing the goals of dharma, artha, and kama. In order to attain the mukti or moksha, a person has to retire from the householder ashram. A person takes vanaprasthan for the sannyas. So, in this way, the grahastha ashram is glorified. Here also, Aditi is saying that ime griha param kshetram. Ime griha param kshetram. Trivargasya param kshetram. And elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, the 2nd canto, 6th chapter, 19th shloka, where Brahma is giving a description to Narada Muni about the universal form of the Lord. There he says that Padeshu sarva bhutani pumsa stitipado viduhu amrutam kshema abhayam trimurdno dai murdasu. Let me check this shloka. Padastrayo bahishchasan aprajanam ya ashramaha antas trilokya swaparo grihamedo brihatvrataha. 2nd canto, 6th chapter, I think 19th or 20th shloka. So the three padas lie beyond the three general divisions of planets and are achieved by the brahmacharis, vanaprasthas, and sannyasis respectively. The others, the householders, who do not take up the formidable vow of celibacy, remain within the Triloki, that is, Bhur, Bhuvar, and Swar. So in this shloka, Brahma is describing about the Ekapad Vibhuti and Tripad Vibhuti. Ekapad Vibhuti can refer to the material world. Tripad Vibhuti refers to the spiritual world. This is one meaning. Another meaning is that Ekapad Vibhuti refers to the Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka, and Swarloka. And Tripad Vibhuti refers to the planets above this Bhur, Bhuvar, and Swarloka. That is Maharaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka. This is another meaning. So the Ekapad Vibhuti, Ekapad Vibhuti is attained by the householders who do not take up the vow of celibacy. Abrihat Vrataha, that is the word used. So they remain within the Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka, and Swarloka. And those who take the vow of celibacy, that is brahmacharis, vanaprasthas, sannyasis, they attain the Tripad Vibhuti. That means they attain the Maharaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. So here, Jiva Goswami says that beyond the heavenly planet, that is beyond the Swarloka, are the Maharaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka. So these four lokas represent the Tripad Vibhuti. And below that, that is Burloka, Bhuvarloka, and Swarloka, they represent the Ekapad Vibhuti. So Ekapad Vibhuti is the place for the Grihamedi. So Grihamedi word, here in this shloka also, Aditi is addressing Kashyapa by the word Grihamedin. Grihamedi means what? Grihamedi means Griha eva meda buddhir yasya saha grihamedi. That means the person whose attention and awareness is anchored in the home, he is called as Grihamedi. Griha eva meda buddhir yasya saha grihamedi. So Griha, although literally it means a home, but Griha implies a wife, because a home without a wife is not a home. So Griha means a wife. So a house alone is not a home. Rather, a wife who keeps the home is what is called a home. Na griham ityagur grihini griham uchyate. This is saying that a house alone is not a home. Rather, a wife who keeps the home is what is called a home. So for a grihastha, a house or home has no meaning without a wife. So therefore, the meaning of the shloka is that Ekapad Vibhuti is meant for those whose attention is anchored in the husband or wife as a basis of psychosexual and emotional gratification. So those people whose attention is only focused on the home, so they remain within the Ekapad Vibhuti, that is Burloka, Bhuvarloka, and Swarloka. They cannot go beyond the Swarloka. So in this way, Grihamedi, Kashyapa, the Aditi is addressing Kashyapa by the word Grihamedi. So we see here in this section that Kashyapa is asking Aditi various reasons for her distress. That's what we saw in the previous verses. Like, what are the various reasons Kashyapa asked briefly? Is there inauspiciousness due to disrespect of the Brahmanas or people in general by not following Dharma? Or is there inauspiciousness because of not following Dharma in household life? Or did you not properly worship the guests? Did you not properly welcome the guest? Or did you not offer ghee to the fire? Lord Vishnu eats through the fire and the Brahmana. And then lastly, he asked that in the present shloka, are your sons doing well? So these are the inquiries by Kashyapa to Aditi. So there can be various reasons for distress. So Kashyapa is asking. Even when, for example, in the Bhagavatam, first canto, 14th chapter, Yudhishthira Maharaj also saw Arjuna in a very distressful situation. And Yudhishthira Maharaj also asked various questions to Arjuna about the reason for his distress. Were you not given proper respect? Or were you disrespected by your friends? Or did some people speak harsh words towards you without affection? Or did you fail in your promise to give something to some people, or somebody requested from you, but you remained silent and did not give charity to the person? Or did you perhaps reject the brahmanas, children, cows, elders, invalids, and the women, and other living beings who took shelter of you? Is it the reason for your distress? Or did you perhaps approach an unworthy woman? Or did you approach a woman not properly attired? Or were you defeated on the road by inferiors in strength or a caste? Or Yudhishthira Maharaj asked that, did you perhaps take your meal without feeding elders, without feeding the children who should be fed at the same time? Or did you perform some forbidden activity? So like that, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked various questions. So in these questions, we can see whether Aditi's questions to Kashyapa's questions to Aditi, or Yudhishthira Maharaj's questions to Arjuna. We can also see what can be the various causes of distress. What can be the various causes of distress in the cultured people? And we can learn about the different dharmas which are supposed to be executed by women or by a Kshatriya. And we can also learn different cultural lessons. We can we can learn about the different apart from the Bhagavata dharma, other dharmas are also highlighted. And at the end, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Arjuna, is it that you are feeling separation from your most dear friend, that is Sri Krishna? Is that the reason for your distress? Like that, Yudhishthira Maharaj ends his question with that. And even Bhagavatam 6th canto, Angira Rishi, when he meets Chitraketu, he also saw that Chitraketu Maharaj was in a very distressful state. And then again he asked various questions. Angira Rishi asked that a king is always protected by 7 elements: his guru, ministers, kingdom, fort, treasury, royal order, and his friends. Are all these 7 things all right? Is there something wrong with that? Because king is not alone. Just like a Jivatma is protected by the 7 elements, beginning with Mahat Tattva, a king is protected by the 7 elements. So the happiness of the king depends on the happiness of the ministers and other things. So are all these things proper? Like that he asked. And then he asked that when a king directly depends upon his associates and follows their instructions, he is happy. And similarly, when the associates offer their gifts and activities to the king, they are also happy. Are your associates proper? Are your ministers proper? Is your treasury proper? And then he asked, are your wives, citizens, secretaries, servants, and other merchants who sell spices and oil, are they all under your control? And are you also in full control of the ministers, inhabitants of your palace, your sons and your other dependents? So if the king's mind is fully controlled, all his family members will be subordinate to him. All the other servants will be subordinate to him. So in this way, Angira Rishi also asked various questions to Chitraketu Maharaj. So we can see various people can go into distress because of various reasons. So, but one common thing which comes in Yudhishthira Maharaj's questions to Arjuna or Kashyapa's question to Aditi, or Angir Rishik's question to Chitraketu is the importance of respecting the Brahmanas, cows, and following Dharma. This is also highlighted when Bhishma Dev's instruction to Pandavas. Bhishma Dev told the Pandavas, Aho kashtam aho nyayam yadyuyam dharmanandanaha जीवितुम नार्हत क्लिष्टम विप्र धर्माच्युताश्रयाः. Having the shelter of the Brahmanas, Dharma and Krishna, you should not live your life in suffering, since that is dangerous and improper. All of you Pandavas had always taken shelter of the Brahmanas. You had always worshipped Krishna. And you always followed Dharma. Despite that, how is it that you went through so many difficulties? It's a puzzle. So Prabhupada in that purport, he explains about the importance of respecting the Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and serving the cows, following Dharma, and being a devotee of Krishna. And even when the demigods went to Lord Brahma, when they lost their opulences, Brahma asked the Devatas, the 6th canto, Traipishtapam kim ganayantyabedya mantra bhrugunam anushikshitartha na vipra govinda gavishwaranam bhavantyabhadrani nareshwaranam. So the demons, because of following the instructions of Shukracharya and having an unbreakable counsel, now they have become so powerful that they don't care for the Devatas. And then Brahma says that there are no misfortunes for the kings who respect the Brahmanas, cows, and Govinda. Navipra Govinda Gavishwaranam Bhavantyabhadrani Nareshwaranam. So, those who respect the Brahmanas, cows, and Govinda, there will not be misfortune. Therefore, if a government wants to remain intact, government wants to maintain its position, then they should give utmost care to worship of the Krishna, service to the cows, and respecting the sadhus, Brahmanas, Vaishnavas. So, similar thing was also inquired by, therefore the importance of the Vipra, Dharma, Go Seva, and Achyuta, Krishna Bhakti, they are highlighted in all these conversations. So when we talk about Trivarga, so generally, Trivarga, Dharma, Artha, and Kama, they are in relation to enjoying in this world. They are in relation to enjoying the body and mind. So Dharma, Artha, and Kama are related to the needs of the body and mind. So various scriptures say that the needs of the body and mind should not be neglected, but at the same time, it is not that we pay all our attention to the needs of the body and mind. Neither neglect nor give all your attention to Dharma, Artha, and Kama. The materialists, they are only focused on Dharma, Artha, and Kama. They are only focused on satisfying the needs of the body and mind. They are only focused on Dharma, Artha, and Kama. Spiritualists, they are focused on the Mukti or Apavarga. So they are focused on the Mukti. The fourth. What is Mukti for the devotees? What is Mukti for others? We will see that. For example, in the Bhagavatam 6th canto, Vritrasura is telling to Indra, Traivargi kayasa vigatamasmat patir vidatte purushasya shakra tatonumeyo bhagavat prasado yodurlabo kinchana gocharonyahi. O Indra, our Lord obstructs endeavor for dharma, artha and kama. One should infer that this is the mercy of the Lord, which is rarely attained by others, but attained by those with attachment to only the Lord. So when a person who is attached to only to Krishna, when he meets with the failures in dharma, artha and kama, that should be considered as a mercy of Krishna. On the other hand, if somebody is successful in pursuing his efforts towards dharma, artha and kama, that is not the highest mercy of the Lord. That's not the highest mercy of the Lord. So Vritrasura is telling that you are wanting success in dharma, artha and kama, but progress in dharma, artha and kama, that's not the highest mercy of the Lord. The highest mercy of the Lord is actually to attain his service, which is beyond dharma, artha and kama. Elsewhere in the Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is said that ye kaivalyam asamprapta ye chatitascha mudatam traivargika akshanika atmanam ghatayanti te. Those who have not achieved the knowledge of the absolute truth, at the same time, who are still beyond the darkness of complete ignorance. They are pious people. They are beyond the darkness of complete ignorance. At the same time, they are also not interested in the absolute truth. Such people follow the threefold path of dharma, artha and kama. And Traivargika Akshanika. Akshanika means not having a time to reflect on any higher purpose. Higher purpose beyond dharma, artha and kama. Atmanam gatayantite. They become the killers of their own soul. So even pious people whose complete time is focused only on dharma, artha and kama, who don't think beyond them, such people are also condemned as the killers of their own Atma. Another verse in the Bhagavatam 3rd canto. Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirtha pada sevaye jivan api mrito hi saha. A person whose actions do not lead to dharma and one's dharma, a person whose practice of dharma does not lead to detachment, and a person whose detachment does not lead to service of the Lord, such a person, although he is living, is considered to be a dead. So one's actions should lead to dharma, and dharma should lead to detachment, and detachment should lead to service of the Lord. So if that is not so, then although a person is living, he is considered to be dead. In this way, Bhagavatam, various places about dharma, artha, kama, they are mentioned. So I'll mention a few quotes about the importance of dharma, artha and kama, how they are addressed in the different shastras, and how the Bhagavatam speaks of it. So Chanakya in the Artha Shastra, he says that Sukasya Moolam Dharmaha. The root of happiness is dharma. That means the more a person practices dharma, he gets happiness. And then the next sutra, he says that Artha eva pradana iti Kautilyah. Artha is the most important. Artha Moolavhi Dharma Kamaviti. Because the root of Dharma and Kama is Artha. So to perform generally many religious activities, say in the Vedic society, to perform different rituals, etc., you need Artha. You want to give charity, you need Artha. So the root of Dharma is Artha. Even Sukracharya told the same thing to Bali Maharaj. That if you give charity, if you give all your wealth in charity, then you will not be able to practice your dharma only. Therefore, Shukracharya says that wealth should be divided in 5 portions. 1 portion for one's own enjoyment, 1 portion for dharma, 1 portion for one's fame. Like that, he explained how the wealth should be divided. So the root of dharma is artha. If you give everything in charity, how will you be able to maintain yourself? How will you be able to maintain your body? And if you cannot maintain your body, how will you be able to perform dharma? And the root of kama is also artha. Because by artha, a person purchases, a person obtains the objects of sense pleasure. And with that, a person can enjoy kama. With that, a person can enjoy kama. So what is the actually definition of kama? The definition of kama is given as follows. Definition of kama is that Shrotra Tvak Chakshur Jihva Grananam Atma Samyuktena Manasa Dishtitanam Sveshu Sveshu Vishayeshu Anukulyata Pravritti Kamaha. The favorable involvement of the auditory, tactile, visual, olfactory sense functions with the respective sense objects. The favorable involvement of the different senses with the sense objects. An involvement in which these cognitive functions are administered by the mind, which is in contact with the self. That is called as kama. So when the senses, the favorable involvement of the senses with the sense objects, and the senses are also in contact with the mind, and the mind is in contact with the Atma. That is called as kama. So you want to enjoy kama, you want to obtain the objects of sense pleasure, one needs to have artha. So therefore, Chanakya says that artha moolau dharma kama viti. And then he says that parasparasya anupagatakam. Parasparasya anupagatakam means these 3 goals, dharma, artha and kama, should not cause harm to each other. Should not cause harm to each other. So that is why when Bharat met Lord Ram in Chitrakuta, Ram asked a question to Bharat. Kachid artena va dharmam. Is it that your practice of dharma getting obstructed because of artha? That means like because of your too much endeavor to earn artha, is the practice of dharma getting obstructed? Or in the endeavor to earn artha, are you compromising with dharma? Artham dharmena va punaha. Or your endeavor to earn artha, is it getting obstructed by practice of dharma? Sometimes a person is so focused on dharma that he is not able to earn any artha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Shivananda Sen to take care of the finances of Vasudeva Datta. Vasudeva Datta was so absorbed in just giving Krishna consciousness to others. He was in the Grahastha ashram, but he would hardly care for finances. So Mahaprabhu told Shivananda Sen to take care of the finances of Vasudeva Datta. So Artham Dharmena Vapuna. Is it because of too much focus on Dharma? Are you neglecting Artha? And then he asked, Ubau va priti lobena kamena va vibadase. And is it because of too much focus on Kama? Are you neglecting Dharma and Artha? Like that, Ram asked Bharat. That means Dharma, Artha, and Kama should be balanced. And even same thing is also mentioned in the Artha Shastra. Dharmartha avirodena kamam seveta. The appropriation of sense objects, that is Kama, is to be undertaken without contravening the principles of Dharma and without hindering prosperity. So, getting the appropriation of sense objects should be accrued without compromising Dharma and Artha. And Vatsyayana Rishi, in the Kama Sutra, he also mentions that a human being should engage in Dharma, Artha, and Kama with regard to the appropriateness of time and in such a manner that they are interlinked and in no way detrimental to each other. No way detrimental to each other. That's why Krishna says in the Gita, Dharmo aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. That Kama which is not contrary to the principles of Dharma, that Kama is divine. And even in the Mahabharata, just like we have Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So there are Chatushloki Mahabharata at the end of the Mahabharata. So in the first Chatushloki, Vyasadeva says that Urdhva Bahur Virom Yesha Nachakaschit Shinoti Me Dharmad Arthascha Kamascha Sakim Artham Na Sevyate. Though I am shouting with upraised arms. So although I am shouting with upraised arms, Urdhva Bahur, what I am shouting? Dharma results in Artha and Kama. Although I am shouting with upraised arms, but nobody cares to listen to me. Nobody cares to listen to me. Dharma being such, what possible reason could there be for not taking to it? When a person practices Dharma, it will result in Artha and Kama, although I am shouting, but nobody is taking my advice. So what can be the possible reason that for people not taking to Dharma? Like that, Vyasadeva also emphasizes the importance of Dharma. So in this way, we see that various scriptures mention about the importance of Dharma, Artha and Kama. In the Yadavabhyudayam, it's a kavya written on Krishna Leela, Yaduvamsha Krishna Leela, by Vedanta Deshika. He describes the character of Vasudeva. He says that Alipsata na samrajyam sorta kama parangmukaha yadricha gatamaishwaryam andrunya ruchiranva bhoot. So Vasudeva was a person who is described as Artha Kama Parangmukaha. That means he was not interested in Artha and Kama. He was mainly focused on Dharma and Moksha. So he was mainly focused on Dharma and Moksha. And if some wealth comes on its own, he would accept it. He would accept it for performing different religious activities in order to become free from the debts towards the Devatas, Pitras and the Rishis. But he was mainly focused on Dharma and Moksha. And because Vasudeva had such a character, it is described that Sa Vishnuriva Lokanam Tapanas Tejasamiva Samudra Iva Ratnanam Satam Ekashrayo Bhavat. Just like Vishnu is the shelter for the three lokas, just like sun planet gives shelter to all the planets, just like ocean gives shelter to the different pearls and valuable gems. Similarly, Vasudev was the only shelter for all the saintly people. What is the reason? Because he was focused on dharma and moksha, he became the shelter for all the saintly people. And therefore, when Vasudev was born, it is described that Tena Nirmala Satvena Vinivritta Rajastamaha Jagati Shanta Moheva Dharmo Shwasavati Babau. Therefore, when Vasudev was completely freed from Rajoguna and Tamoguna, was so focused on Dharma and Moksha, when he was born, the earth got a new life. Before Vasudev's birth, Vasudev's earth was burdened with all the demoniac kings. Because of that, Dharma had become practically unconscious. But after the Vasudev's birth, the earth, the Bhumi got a new life. Dharmo Chwasavati Shanta Moheva Bhavav. So therefore, in the cultured society, Artha is kept subordinate to Dharma. And Kama is subordinate to Moksha. So that is what in the Ramayana, we see that Lakshman and Shatrughna, although they were twins, Lakshman was engaged in the service of Ram and Shatrughna was engaged in the service of Bharata. So Ram represents Dharma. Maricha says in Ramayana, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. Ram is the personification of Dharma. Although Maricha's own mother, Tataka, was killed by Ram, Maricha glorifies Ram as Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. Ram is the personification of Dharma. And Lakshman represents Artha. That means Artha should be made subordinate to Dharma. And Bharat was completely dedicated to the service of Lord Ram. Bharat represents the moksha. And Shatrughna represents Kama. Kama was subordinate to moksha. Shatrughna was engaged in the service of Bharat. In the Bhagavatam, we see the example of Kardama Muni and Pururava. Kardama Muni took Devahuti to different places all over the universe. There's a chapter in the 3rd canto. Kardama Muni took Devahuti to so many holiday spots in the universe, which even the Devatas did not have access. That many, he went to so many places. He went to, by his mystic siddhis, he created a beautiful airplane, took Devahuti to so many places. There's a detailed description. But although, and Kardama Muni was enjoying Kama in the company of his wife in the Grahastha ashram, but his enjoyment was Kama, was subordinate to Moksha. Within his mind, he was always conscious of the ultimate goal of life. He was conscious of the ultimate goal of life, that is the service to the Supreme Personality of God. That is why Kardama Muni, after the children were born at the appropriate time, he decided to retire and go to the forest. So therefore, Kardama Muni's life, we can see, is an example of how the Kama was subordinate to Moksha. On the other hand, Pururava, who was so enamored by the Urvashi that he became attached to enjoying the company of Urvashi, that even when Urvashi left Pururava, Pururava was mad, became mad in separation from Urvashi. And he performed so much of yajna to again get the company of Urvashi. And Pururava, in enjoying Kama with Urvashi, he forgot the ultimate goal of life. So Kama, Moksha became subordinate to Kama. That is why Pururava, at the end of his life, when he speaks the Aila Gita, 11th canto, 27th chapter, he says that in the company of Urvashi, I did not notice how the time was passing by. So many years passed, I forgot to notice the rising and setting of the sun. So Pururava's life is, the Kama became superior to Moksha, but Kardama Muni's life is, Kama was subordinate to Moksha. So Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma, Artha, Kama or Mukti. So in the case of the, generally, when we talk about this Moksha or Mukti, it means liberation. Moksha or Mukti is also, it means liberation. Or it is also called as Apavarga. When you go through the standard dictionary, Amarakosha. In the Amarakosha, the paryaya, the synonyms of the word Apavarga are mentioned. It says that Mukti, Kaivalya, Nirvana, Shreyo, Nishreya, Samritam, Moksho, Apavargaha. Mukti, Kaivalya, Moksha, Apavarga, Nirvana, Shreya, Nishreyasa, Amritam, all these are synonyms. So generally, the moksha or mukti, liberation from the samsara, that is considered to be the highest goal. So how do the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita, when they describe about the goal of life? In the Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, Krishna speaks about the performance of yajna. He says that Sahayajna praja srishtva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishadvam yeshavoshtishta kamaduk. Perform yajna, by that you will attain prosperity in this life and also liberation in the next world. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayanta shreya paramavapsyata. He tells about the performance of yajna. The devatas being pleased with the sacrifices, they will also please you. They will provide your necessities. And by cooperation between the men and demigods, Shreya Param Avapsyata, one will attain the supreme Shreya, one will attain the supreme welfare. The supreme welfare is Mukti or Moksha. And elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that in the 4th chapter, Sarve Pyete Yajna Vido Yajna Kshapita Kalmasha Yajna Shishtam Mritabhujo Yanti Brahma Sanatana. Yanti Brahma Sanatana. So generally, in the traditional, the Vedic culture, dharmic activities, people will perform different sacrifices. So here he says, Yanti Brahma Sanatana. All these knowers of yajna who are purified of their unmeritorious acts through the performance of yajna and who partake in the ambrosial remnants of yajna attain the eternal Brahman, Yanti Brahma Sanatana. In this way, Bhagavad Gita says that the purpose of executing dharma is not simply to artha or kama, but to attain moksha, to attain mukti, or to attain the Supreme Lord. And the Srimad Bhagavatam gives a very profound sloka about dharma, artha, and kama, about the purpose of them. Very, very important shloka. Once when somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, which shloka do you consider as the most important shloka out of so many shlokas in so many Vedic literatures? Vedic literatures contain so many shlokas. Which do you think is as the most important shloka? So Prabhupada spoke 2 shlokas. Dharmasya apavargyasya nartho arthaya pakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamalabhaya hi smritah कामस्य नेन्द्रिय प्रीतिर लाभो जीवेत यावता जीवस्य तत्व जिज्ञासा नार्तो यश्चेह कर्मभिः. Very profound shloka where Suta Goswami says that the purpose of dharma is apavarga. The purpose of dharma is to attain apavarga. So apavarga means what? Pavarga means pa, pha, ba, bha and ma. Pa represents parishrama. Pha represents pain. And ba represents bandhana. Bha represents bhaya. And ma represents mrityu. This is called pavarga. That is hard work, foaming at the mouth, and bondage, fear, and death. And opposite to that is apavarga. Opposite to that is apavarga. So the purpose of dharma is to attain apavarga. Dharmasya apavargyasya nartho arthaya pakalpate. And then further, specifically it is said that the purpose of executing dharma is not artha, is not gaining artha. Artha is not the final goal of performing dharma. The purpose of dharma is apavarga. Nartasya dharmaikantasya. The artha, which is the unfailing dharma ekantasya, which is the unfailing attendant of such dharma, does not have kama as its intended aim. Nartasya dharmaikantasya kama labhaya hi smritah. Artha, the purpose of artha is not kama. Artha, which is the unfailing attendant of such dharma, does not have kama as the goal. Kamasya na indriya priti. Kamasya na indriya priti. The appropriation of sense objects is not meant for indriya priti, is not meant for sensual pleasure. Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata. The appropriation of sense object is meant for just to live in this world. That means only for self-preservation. Whatever is required to sustain one's life, one should acquire that. And then what the purpose of sustaining one's existence? Jivasya tattva jigyasa. The purpose of life is to inquire into the absolute truth. Narto yascheha karmabhi. The purpose of life is not to procure the benefit of heaven in this is not to procure the benefit in this world by carrying out one's prescribed duties. So in this way, Suta Goswami is giving the goal of dharma. And generally, the goal of dharma, he mentions that dharma means apavarga. And as I mentioned, according to Amarakosha, apavarga, mukti, moksha, kaivalya, nirvana, shreya, amritam, all these are paryayavachi, synonyms. So apavarga, generally people think that it means liberation. But then, here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, apavarga means bhakti. Apavarga does not mean actually liberation. Apavarga means bhakti. And Jiva Goswami gives 2 reasons. Because just before this shloka, Suta Goswami mentioned that dharma swanishtita pumsam vishvaksena katasuya notpadayet ediratim shramayeva hi kevalam. If a person meticulously executes one's prescribed duties, but if he does not develop attraction for Krishna Katha, then what is the use? So that means this section is talking about bhakti, not simply liberation from the samsara. Therefore, the Apavarga refers to Bhakti. And elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 19th chapter, 19th shloka, Jiva Goswami quotes that shloka. In that shloka, Apavarga is used in the sense of the meaning of Bhakti. So therefore, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that the goal of life which is talked about in the Bhagavatam is something higher than the mukti. That is bhakti to Bhagavan. That is why the purpose of dharma is apavarga, means the purpose of dharma is actually bhakti to Bhagavan. And that is mentioned in the Bhagavatam in many places. In the Bhagavatam, in 3 places, the paro dharma, the highest dharma, is mentioned in 3 places. Right in the beginning, it is said that dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. Paramo dharma. Bhagavatam speaks about the paramo dharma. And elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, it is said that savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshaje. The highest dharma is to perform unmotivated, unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. And elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, Yamaraj is telling to the Yamadutas, Yetavan eva lokesmin pumsam dharma parasmrutah bhakti yogo bhagavati tannama grahanadibihi. That bhakti yoga to Bhagavan is considered to be the paro dharma. In that shloka also the paro dharma word is used. So therefore, in the Bhagavatam, we see that the purpose of dharma is apavarga, that means bhakti to Bhagavan, or prema bhakti, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that prema pumarto mahan. And therefore we find when Kubera asked Dhruva Maharaj to ask for a benediction, Dhruva Maharaj said that Sarajarajena varaya chodito Dhruvo maha bhagavato mahamatihi Haraucha vavre chalitam smritim yaya tarat ayatnena duratyayam tamaha. So Dhruva Maharaj asked for unflinching remembrance of Krishna. Therefore, Dhruva Maharaj is considered to be the Mahabhagavato Mahamatihi, the topmost devotee and highly intelligent devotee. So Kubera was ready to give any amount of artha which will help Dhruva to procure any objects of sense gratification. But instead of asking for artha, Dhruva asked for unflinching remembrance of the Lord. Another example, Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj, he prays to the Lord that Varan Vibhotat Varadeshwarad Buddha Katam Vrinite Gunavikriyatmanam Yenarakanam Apisanti Dehinam Tanisha Kaivalya Pate Vrinenacha. So Prithu Maharaj says that you are the best of the person who can offer benediction. But why should any learned person ask you for benediction meant for living entities bewildered by Maya? Which intelligent person will ask for benedictions to enjoy in this world? Such benedictions are automatically available even in the lives of living entities suffering in hellish conditions. So, therefore, Prithu Maharaj first he says that I don't want any benedictions of sense gratification, any benedictions related to eating, mating, sleeping and defending, which are available even in the hells. So in this verse, Prithu Maharaj addresses Lord by the word Kaivalya Pate, or master of liberation. So expecting that Lord Vishnu is thinking that probably Prithu Maharaj is asking for desiring Kaivalya Mukti. But in the next verse, he clarifies that also. He says that na kamaye nata tadapyakam kvachin nayatra yushma charanam bujasavaha mahattamantar hridayan mukachyuto vidatsva karna yutamesha me varaha. He says that I don't desire Kaivalya Mukti even in the worst of difficulties. On the other hand, why I don't desire? Because in the Kaivalya Mukti there is no nectar of Krishna Katha. There is no opportunity to hear Krishna Katha. So therefore, what I desire is that I want millions of years so that I can hear the Krishna Katha which is going on in different topics, spoken by different devotees, going on in different places. So he addressed Lord by the word Kaivalyapate, but he is asking for not Apavarga or Mukti, he is asking for Bhakti. And lastly, Vritrasur also clarifies in his prayer, Nanaka Prushtam Nachaparameshtyam Nayoga Siddhir Apunarbhavam Va Na Sarubhaumam Narasadhipatyam Nayoga Siddhir Apunarbhavam Va Samanjasatva Virahaya Kangshe. He says that I don't desire dominion over the Dhruvaloka, heavenly planets, Satyaloka, or on the earthly planets. I don't desire liberation. I don't desire the mystic siddhis. Although you are the source of all opportunities, Samanjasa, you can offer any of these things, but I don't desire any of these things. In this way, Vritrasur's prayer, or Dhruva Maharaj's prayer, or Prithu Maharaj's prayer, all these prayers confirm the Bhagavatam statement, Dharmasya Hyapavargyasya. Dharma is meant for Apavarga, which means actually Krishna Bhakti. And so to summarize, we discussed Kashyapa speaking to Aditi, the reasons for distress. We also discussed Yudhishthira Maharaj speaking to Arjuna about the reasons for distress. And then we discussed about the importance of the Dharma, Artha. We discussed about various quotations on Dharma, Artha and Kama from Chanakya's Arthasastra, Vatsyayana Rishi's Kama Shastra and Mahabharata. And finally, we discussed about the Bhagavatam's verdict on the purpose of Dharma. Hare Krishna. So I'll end here. If anybody has any.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this beautiful class and so many examples from all over the Bhagavatam and scriptures, Prabhuji. Very grateful to you for this. Prabhuji, do you have any time for questions?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Hare Krishna Radha Jyoti Mataji, please go ahead with your question.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna to you and my humble obeisances to you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, my most respectful, humble obeisances at dust of your lotus feet. I'm so grateful for your class today. Prabhuji, I have a couple of questions. First question is, how you cultivate your consciousness, because I'm a very neophyte for Bhagavatam. I feel every time that I don't understand anything, every day is new for me. If I could cultivate the consciousness like you, I would try to distribute Bhagavatam. So please give me some, some guidance to cultivate such kind of consciousness. Second question to you is about distress. So, being in a female body, I wanted to know what kind of sins or aparadhs I have done that I got such kind of body, because female body is itself is a symbol of a distress. So this is my second question. And third question was about please mention those two shlokas of Srila Prabhupada that you mentioned. And the last question is about this moksha. If you see when we distribute, when we tell them about moksha and all, they will be not interested. But once the death happens, then everybody will be conscious about getting a moksha. So, what intensity we should bring them in their consciousness so that they will be alert of not going towards, sense gratification, because uh, getting artha in this Kali Yuga is quite a bit easy, but they are not inclined towards the dharma or towards the moksha. Even they are not inclined for and pure sense gratification. Like they are doing sense gratification, but
Okay,
in
I'll
a
just
hellish
take the
manner.
first two questions and then we'll go to we'll just take the I'll first take the questions only. How to train our consciousness? How to train our consciousness is that by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam means the consciousness of Krishna and the pure devotees.
How you have
Prabhupada says.
cultivated your consciousness.
There is no other. Bhagavatam means the consciousness of Krishna and the pure devotees. Therefore, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, that is the main thing for cultivating our consciousness. By hearing from the devotees, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the way. Association of the devotees, interacting with the devotees, hearing from them Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the way to cultivate consciousness. That is the first question. What is the second question?
Getting a female body is a symbol of a distress. Could you please give the examples from Bhagavatam or other references?
See, everybody has a certain advantages and disadvantages. It's not that male has a certain strength and certain weakness. Female has a certain strength and certain weakness. So I wouldn't say that this is inferior, that is superior. Both has a certain strength and weakness actually. So instead of focusing on I must have performed certain sins or something like that, instead of wanting to know what sins I have performed to attain this or something, we can focus on taking shelter of Krishna. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he would chant 35, 40 rounds every day. So one devotee asked that, how is that, what is the driving point which gives you, which is making you chant so many rounds every day? So Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj said that, see, I have a sinful background. Therefore, I feel that I need to perform bhakti intensely. So instead of simply brooding about, instead of simply thinking about what my background, he used that consciousness to take shelter of Krishna more intensely, to perform bhakti more attentively. So anybody who has a material body, he has performed certain sins or he has performed certain, he is rebellious toward the Supreme Lord. So whether even if somebody is in a mode of goodness, he is in a pious family, but the fact that he has a material body, that means he is also rebelled towards the Lord. So we can, instead of focusing on what kind of body we have, rather we focus on taking shelter of the Lord. Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi syu papa yonayah striyo vaishya satashutras tepi yanti paramgatim. The starting point does not matter. Krishna can elevate anybody from whatever background. When a person takes shelter of Krishna, one achieves the highest, destination. So that is that's what I can say of the second question. For the third question,
Prabhuji, the third question is about two shlokas that you mentioned, Srila Prabhupada's favorite shlokas. Please give me the numbers, please, if you could.
First canto, second chapter, I think verse number 9 and 10. 9 and 10. Second chapter, 9th and 10th shloka. So you mentioned general people are not interested in moksha. People are interested in enjoying in this world. That is all right. But we can encourage them, them also into Krishna Bhakti. Akama sarva kamova moksha kama udharati. Bhagavatam says that even if a person wants to enjoy different material desires, but let them perform bhakti to Krishna. And by that they will be gradually purified. Hare Krishna. Janava Mataji. Hare.
I'm so sorry. Did you call me Mataji? May I speak now or?
Yes, Mataji. I'm grateful to you also.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's my great fortune today to be in your association for your highly philosophical class and amazing example. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to assembled devotee. Prabhu, my question is not highly philosophically charged, more like a clarification. When you were speaking in the beginning about Grihastha life and Grihamedi and wife is a home and all that. And I'm trying to catch up intellectually because there's a lot to digest for me. I feel like I'm not qualified to really understand Srimad Bhagavatam, but I'm really trying my best to do so. Prabhu, what did you say about householder, the consequences of householder getting stuck in the three lower places? So were you saying, for clarification, and I know I'm asking this wrong, were you saying that householder are stuck? We can't attain the same higherly heavenly planet as the sannyasis and the brahmacharis, or there's something else that we need to do in order to attain that? Like we have, one solution could be focus, having a household that is focused in the servicing of Radha Krishna, but people have to be also vow of celibacy while a householder. Can you clarify, Prabhu?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It is clearly said by the Vaishnava Acharyas, Grihetako, Vanetako, Sadahari Boleta. Whether somebody is in a householder ashram or in the forest as a sannyasi or vanaprastha, when a person is engaged in the service of Krishna, they can attain the perfection. So when we talk about the general mukti, kaivalya mukti, which is the goal of the jnanis and yogis, so they have to renounce from the householder ashram. But when we talk about Krishna prema, one can, when we talk about Krishna prema, when we talk about attaining service to the Lord, it doesn't matter whether somebody is in the grahastha ashram or in the brahmachari ashram or sannyas ashram, because bhakti is independent of any ashram. Bhakti is independent of any ashram. But for attaining just mukti, kaivalya mukti, for that Shastras talk about, okay, you perform karma yoga and then you become, you put a full stop all the karmas and then you have to retire and to take to sannyas and then practice jnana marga, ashtanga yoga marga and attain mukti. But when we talk about bhakti, bhakti is independent of any ashram. So therefore, it's not that we like attaining Janaloka, Maharloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. Yeah, for that Bhagavatam shloka described that those who don't practice the Brihad Vrata, they cannot attain. But when we talk about Vaikuntha Loka, or attaining service to the Lord, for that no ashram is an impediment, because bhakti is independent. Hare Krishna. Does it answer your question?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for the clarification. I definitely missed one main philosophical key point. So in summary, Prabhu, you're saying that regardless of one's ashram, or not regardless, yeah, kind of devotional service, which is bhakti, it can Krishna Prem, love for Krishna or bhakti devotional service can be attained regardless of one's ashram stage of life, i.e. sannyas, brahmachari, or householder. So for a grihasta, the main, although we are not taking a renounce order because we're not pursuing Kalvaya Mukti, then if we focus on devotional service to Radha Krishna, then that is also okay. We attain Krishna Prem because that is the ultimate goal of life.
Correct.
Okay.
Even
Thank
if
you,
somebody
Prabhu, for
is
the
not within the
clarification.
Varnashram system also.
Okay.
Suppose even if somebody is not within an ashram, for whatever reason, but if he is focused on Krishna Bhakti, he can attain the ultimate goal.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful class and beautiful explanation of the questions. I think there are no other questions in the chat. Yes. Okay. We would like to offer our obeisances to you. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav ki jai. Mantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His grace Radhika Vallabh Prabhu ji ki
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. Hare Hare.
Nityananda.